To do this thing. But hey guys, today we are going. This is the day where we are going to be doing 3 videos in one day. Ugh, finally, you can see me. Today, this time at 12 p.m., it's reaction. 1 second, guys. Boop. All right, here we are.
My 6 cats, 2 dogs, and suspiciously short-lived pets.
Hang on, we gotta give some credit first. Illymation. Go subscribe to her.
Get your cat to scratch instead of your couch.
I've watched this
Unfortunately,
like 50 times.
my 6 cats, 2 dogs, and suspiciously short-lived pet store goldfish taught me that pets are definitely members of the family. For many of us, they're the first family you have. Case in point, before my parents were ready for a human baby, they got a cat baby. They adopted a little orange tabby cat and named him Hobbs, after the tiger in the comic. Hobbs was a super chill dude. My dad said he could pick him up, stretch him out, and parade him through the house going, "Super cat!" And Hobbs loved it. And life was great, but it was still missing something. A dog! So they went back to the shelter and fell in love with a golden retriever, beagle, German shepherd, mystery mutt, who was found wandering the streets after a hurricane. She wasn't microchipped and she'd been at the shelter for a very long time. So it was a no-brainer. She'd be coming home with them, and her name was Katie. Hobbs and Katie were my parents' pride and joy for years. But of course, I just had to pop out and ruin the fun. Oh, no, honey, don't touch the cat's tail. Liz, no, the kitty doesn't like that. Liz, just let her learn. Cool. Okay, nope, we're not doing this. And that's how it went. I'd ask to be Super Hobbs' sidekick, he'd respond with a sidekick, and I would laugh. And as for Katie, we bonded over carrots. She liked them, and I did not. Carrots are safe for dogs to have from time to time, but back then, my mom had to learn that from a book. Today, we have technology. And the best way to conduct your pet research is by using my browser of, mind of your browser. I like to customize distract. Sounds nice. Like YouTube music to the next song. The browser. You can also while writing smoother. Click operas get little back to the net. So, what it means for the underscore to identify link in the description to try track of your R2 for everything. My first steps, my first words, even my first, second, and third birthdays, as well as my official promotion to Big Sister. But one day, my mom noticed Hobbs wasn't acting quite right. He seemed off balance and was having trouble walking. So my mom put him in his carrier and drove straight to the vet. Right as a train was coming through town. It took forever to pass, wasting away the crucial minutes she needed. And by the time she got to the vet, it was too late. Hobbs had suffered a stroke and passed away in the car. It was a devastating loss, And although they were busy with 2 young kids and a dog, my parents couldn't imagine a family without a cat. I was too little to remember losing Hobbs, but I'm sure the house was pretty quiet without that super cat. So my mom and dad went to the shelter and adopted an adult black tabby cat, and her name was Maya. Super cat! Maya did not like Super Cat. Maya did not like my childish games. Maya did not like many things or people to be my childish games. Maya did not like Super Cat. Maya did not like my childish games. Maya
Remember that.
did not like Super Cat. Maya did not like my childish games. Maya did not like many things or people, to be honest. The shelter said they knew very little about Maya. She was just a stray cat wandering around the streets. But the strange part was, she was declawed.
Declawed? But there's scratches on his face.
Declawing is a very bad practice that is banned in many countries and thankfully isn't as common today in the US. It's a procedure where a cat's claws are surgically removed permanently by amputating the ends of their toes. It's like losing this part of your fingertip. Declawing can be incredibly painful and stressful for that cat to live with, especially considering they have to relearn how to walk right on those pain points. Pain, by the way, that may not ever go away and can be followed by arthritis due to the abnormal posture a declawed cat may end up taking. A cat scratching up your furniture is annoying, but please know that cats need to scratch something. Scratching is a normal cat behavior for expressing emotions, grooming their claws, and reducing stress. And there are a ton of things out there you can get your cat to scratch instead of your couch. Unfortunately, declawed cats are understandably very stressed after the procedure, but obviously can no longer release that stress in the way they are naturally supposed to. To make matters worse for Maya, after her owners declawed her, they clearly abandoned her, now with no claws to defend herself. If that were me, I'd never trust a human again either. Our dreams of having another super cat like Hobbs were over, but we completely understood that Maya had every right to be the grumpy cat she was. Even though I never really got close with her, I'm grateful my parents were able to keep Maya and were committed to caring for her, even though she hated us like 99% of the time. Because that other 1% of the time when she wasn't so grumpy, when she'd rub up against your leg and let you pet her, when you'd be minding your own business and she'd hop up in your lap for a nap, those little moments made it all worth it. As the years passed and my younger sibling and I grew older, Katie's role as carrot catcher slowed down to the role of rug. She wasn't running around like she used to, she wasn't hungry for anything at all, and she just seemed out of it. My parents thought it was just old age, because she was like 12 or 13 at this point, but it turned out she had cancer, which is the leading cause of death in dogs as they get older. And although I wasn't old enough to understand why we had to say goodbye to Katie, it was her time to go. So I gave her one last carrot, a kiss on the head, and she went to sleep. And again, the house was so quiet with one less family member. It wasn't just my mom and dad feeling the loneliness. Us kids felt it too. We loved Katie and we missed her so much. Just like after losing Hobbs, my parents were hesitant to adopt another pet, but they also knew how much our family, especially the kids, thrived with pets to love and take care of. So one day, they adopted a 3-year-old Beagle Labrador mystery mutt named Molly. Unbeknownst to us, though, Molly's resume wasn't exactly accurate. Yes, she was the perfect playmate for young kids in the backyard. And yes, she was an amazing cuddle buddy day and night. But no, she was not at all trained. She was not taught to sit or stay or heel or that the bathroom for dogs is located outside, not inside. And yes, this did become my parents' responsibility. And yes, they did their best to get her up to speed. But boy, is it hard to potty train a human child and an adult dog at the same time. Which is exactly why they set out to adopt an adult dog and not a puppy. But they just ended up with a really big puppy. Not long after bringing her home, my parents had to make the tough decision to return Molly to her foster family. My younger sibling and I were old enough to remember this, but not old enough to understand why some people return the pets they adopt. We were furious with my parents. I thought you loved Molly! She was family! Why did you get rid of her? And our parents tried to explain. These are the kinds of hard decisions a responsible pet owner makes. Molly deserved to be with owners that had the time to help her catch up and be the best dog she could be. And our family just wasn't a good fit for Molly. After our sad goodbye to Molly, my parents firmly decided no more dogs. And no amount of perfect Nintendog rearing I displayed could change their mind. Even so, there was no denying the grumpy elephant in the room. Maya was great, but she was less like a family pet and more like a weird roommate. So my parents thought, okay, maybe we aren't a one dog, one cat household anymore, but maybe we could be a two cat household. After all, cats are.
Well,
are a lot more independent.
never mind.
And they pee in a box. So, in third grade, my mom let me pick out a cat on Pet Finder.
I have like the oldest cat in the world. Her name's Mini Horse. Here's a picture. Oh, sorry. This. This is the picture. Mini Horse. Say hi to Mini Horse, guys. Got one more cat. This is Pepper. Say hi to Pepper. Say hi to Pepper.
The superior cheesy snack. But when we brought her home, Cheeto was really timid and straight up afraid of us. My mom explained to me that new pets, especially cats, can feel this way after getting.
Want to see my dog? Alright. This is actually the last time I'm getting up. Alright, no funny business here, just dog. See you, phone.
Getting adopted, so it's best to give them a small, quiet room to get their bearings. So the computer room became Cheeto's room, and the cramped space underneath the futon became her hiding place. Every day when I'd come home from school, I'd tiptoe in, sit down, and hold out my hand for her to sniff. And sometimes she did, but she was still far too scared to do much else. She wouldn't even eat or drink if I was in the room. I could tell it was gonna take a long time for Cheeto to warm up to me. But I was willing to wait, so for weeks, I'd go into the computer room, sit down, hold out my hand, and wait. And right when I was starting to worry that Cheeto would become Maya 2.0, I felt a soft little cat head nudge my hand. I held back my screams of excitement, I carefully pet her, and that's when our friendship finally began. Instead of me waiting for Cheeto after school, she would sit in the front window of the house and, according to my mom, go bananas when she saw me walking down the driveway. She'd greet me with lots of headbutts, she'd hold my papers down while I did my homework, and she'd fall asleep in my arms like a little teddy bear every night. She was the perfect cat to complete our family. I loved Cheeto. And then, one day, while on a walk, my mom came across a mommy calico cat and her kittens. They were seeking shelter in an abandoned house and looked pretty skinny, so my mom rushed home to grab some water and cat food. But when she returned, animal control was there. So my mom begged the worker for a kitten, and she was handed a tiny little calico. When my little sibling and I came home from school, we were ecstatic. But when Dad came home, he saw it differently. 2 kids and 2 cats was the perfect family formula. But this kitten was so cute! Who would say no to that little face? So they compromised. We would foster the kitten until another family adopted her. And since my mom found her, she got to name her Phoebe. My mom got in touch with a local fostering organization, she filled out all the paperwork, and she took Phoebe to her first vet visit. It was there they discovered Phoebe didn't have a tail. And not like she was a bobtail, like, she had no tailbone. Even humans have tailbones. Phoebe was a Manx, a breed known for being tailless, and she had Manx syndrome. Turns out having all those butt bones and butt nerves are a huge help in, using your butt, like knowing when it's time. So yeah, she was a very, very messy cat. In addition to her litter box issues, she also had a ton of food allergies, which really didn't help. It took years for my family to figure out the right brands, the right protein, the right— Wait, you fostered her for years? Yeah, she wasn't the most popular cat. So it took a while, but eventually Phoebe did get adopted. And then returned, like, 2 weeks later. My parents weren't ready to take on the responsibilities of a high-needs cat again, so Phoebe did get adopted. and then returned like 2 weeks later. My parents weren't ready to take on the responsibilities of a high-needs cat again, so Phoebe stayed with a different family from the fostering organization. Meanwhile, back at our house, our grumpy old cat Maya was becoming slow and weak like the pets before her, so we knew our goodbyes were coming soon. My mom grew to have a better connection with Maya than anyone else in the family, but she didn't want to go alone, so I went with her. And even though Maya was a hissy little thing for all the years I'd known her, I found myself getting emotional on the car ride to the vet. I don't know what came over me, but once we were there, sitting on the floor, talking with the vet, I wanted to hold Maya. And for the first time ever, she didn't growl or hiss. She let me pick her up and lay her down in my lap. I pet her, I kissed her head, and soon she fell asleep. And when she was gone, I found myself crying so hard. I thought my mom would be like this, but no, it was me. And I still get choked up sometimes when I think about Maya. I guess you don't need to be super close or have the perfect connection to miss a pet or to love them. And I think that's why my parents decided, even though it would be a lot of work, Phoebe needed to come home. So they reached out to the foster organization and formally adopted Phoebe. And our cats, Cheeto and Phoebe, went on to enjoy years of love and family fun together. By this time, life was changing fast. I was graduating high school, I was moving to California for animation college, and although I'd come home once or twice a year to visit, I knew Cheeto was too old to fly across the country and live with me. Still, I really wanted my own little companion again. So during my second year of college, I adopted my bouncing baby boy Luigi. But soon after adopting him, I felt guilty. Getting another cat felt like, I don't know, like I was cheating on Cheeto. I was scared my love for Luigi would outshine my love for Cheeto, who, despite me being away for years at this point, was still sitting in the front window every afternoon waiting for me to come home. I couldn't honor Cheeto's loyalty in person anymore, but I also couldn't give up on Luigi just because he wasn't Cheeto. I wasn't sure what to do or how to feel, so I called my mom, and she told me that with every new pet she's loved throughout her life, she's felt the same worries too. But she said, every animal you love is different, and you'll find that love in different ways. At first, I wasn't sure what she meant, but Luigi did a great job explaining. He doesn't always greet me with headbutts like Cheeto. Instead, he prefers to scream with glee every time I come home. He doesn't hold down my papers while I work. He insists on helping, even if I don't need it. And although he doesn't sleep like a teddy bear in my arms, he continues to find new and unique ways to get comfy right next to me. I learned this lesson in love even more with my second cat, Junie. She doesn't just cuddle with me at bedtime, but also at any point she possibly can during the day. She doesn't just wait in the window for me to come home. She drops everything to make sure she's first to say hello. So when I got off a 13-hour flight on Christmas Day, 2018, and my family texted me that Cheeto had suddenly passed away due to acute kidney failure, my mom's words echoed in my brain. I fought the urge to feel ashamed when I saw Luigi in the window, meowing at me when I returned home. I reminded myself it wasn't selfish to hold Junie like a little teddy bear that night. And every time my cats purr, meow, or hiss, and every time they fall asleep next to me, I feel the love I have for them and all the pets who came before. Hobbs, Katie, Maya, Molly, Phoebe, and Cheeto. I love them, and I carry that love with me everywhere.
The video's over. Subscribe to Illymation. Remember, subscribe to Illymation. Alright. You know what we're watching now? I'm a bug.
very small little bug, taking so long to crawl to where I'm going. Where am I going? In your home, oh, it's so very warm, all alone. So I'll go get my swarm and we'll get growing. Yeah, we'll get growing. In the walls, in the closet, in the halls, oviposit, in the stairs, in the attic, everywhere. Systematic kitchen tiles, table legs and laundry piles. Laying eggs were in your hair, in your mattress, everywhere. Systematic in the fridge, on the ceiling, what's that itch? Tiny feelings in your clothes, in your bedsheets, everywhere.